Hello, friends and clients. I am Jennifer Walker Gates with JLW Immigration Law Group, and I am here in this video to talk about I-485 denials, why the I-485s most frequently are denied, and what to do about it, really importantly, if this has happened to you. Every year, thousands upon thousands, probably multiple thousands of I-485s are denied. Right now, in April of 2025, the policy of USCIS appears to be that for denials, in many cases, a notice to appear will be generated. That means if your case is not approved, if your I-485 is filed and then denied, you risk being placed in immigration court deportation proceedings. So this is really important for people to understand what are the most common reasons for denials so that you can first avoid those reasons. And then if your case has been denied, you know what steps you need to take and how soon you need to take them. So I hope your case hasn't been denied, but if it has, and if you're just looking to make sure that a case you're going to file is in good shape, then this is the video for you. Before we get into today's topic, I want to take a moment to ask you to please subscribe to our newsletter, subscribe to our channel, share, subscribe, comment, like our videos. This content is intended to help immigrants across the United States, whether you're working with us directly, another attorney, or going through this process on your own. We want to make sure everyone has access to good, trustworthy information about the immigration process. There is a lot of information out on the internet that is just not right, and it creates a lot of confusion and leads to a lot of mistakes and a lot of unfortunate situations. That's what we're trying to avoid here. So please share, subscribe, like, and help us get the word out that this information is here on our channel. We're also live every Wednesday on our channel at noon Central Time, answering questions live through our broadcast channel there and on Facebook. So contact us there if you have general questions. We're always happy to do what we can to get information out. All right, so talking about I-485 denials. This is a really stressful situation. So let's talk about what we in our practice at JLW Immigration Law Group have seen over the course of our many years. We have more than 50 years collectively doing immigration cases, working on I-485s with clients. So these are the reasons that we have seen over and over again lead to denials and having people come to us either after or in the process when things start to get messy and look like they're going off the rails. The first reason that we typically see people kind of losing track of their case and not getting the case over the finish line successfully is failing to include required evidence. Very often, this evidence is actually something that relates to the underlying petition, such as evidence of good faith marriage, evidence of a bona fide relationship with a parent or child, even though that kind of evidence is required for the petition rather than for the I-485 itself. That petition is critically important. So if the petition isn't approvable because the evidence isn't sufficient, then the I-485 can fail as well. The other thing we see is often people, especially when they're filing on their own, are not providing enough documentation with the I-864 affidavit of support. Employer letters are really important for those affidavits of support. The comprehensive tax documents are really important, and the numbers on the I-864 affidavit of support need to square up with what is reflected in the tax documents, what is reflected in the recent pay stubs, what is reflected in the employer letter. Eligibility is determined from all of those things, and so if any of those elements is missing, that can lead to a denial. Another really important thing that people sometimes forget, the medical exam. Now, typically USCIS will request, they'll send a request for evidence if some of these things are missing, but sometimes people don't do a good job of responding to an RFE, and that ends up being the second reason that I-485s are denied. When you respond to a request for evidence, it needs to be done on time, and the response must be complete. If you get a request for evidence from USCIS and you provide a partial response, that often leads to a denial. They're not going to give you multiple chances to respond to that RFE. Now, sometimes they will send more than one RFE for multiple things. Maybe they didn't catch everything the first time and they didn't ask for it. But if they send you a request for evidence and you respond, but don't include the stuff that they were asking for, they can deny your case immediately. And that is another reason that we often see I-485s get denied. Those requests for evidence, we have videos on our YouTube channel about how to read and respond to a request for evidence. They are not easy to comprehend. There's a lot of like legal gobbledygook in requests for evidence, a lot of legal, what we call boilerplate language that doesn't apply directly to you. And that stuff you have to filter through to figure out what the RFE is asking for. If you don't do that correctly and on time, then your I-485 can be denied. The other next reason that we see people's cases getting denied is because they miss an appointment. USCIS is not 100% on their notification systems. Really, it's a huge bureaucracy, an enormous agency dealing with billions of pieces of data every day. And sometimes there's human error that gets mixed in. Sometimes there is a system glitch or a little breakdown in the system, and you may not get the notification that you have an appointment. You may actually get the notification and somehow not see it yourself. Both of those things we've seen happen. If you miss an appointment that is scheduled for you by USCIS and you don't follow up pretty quickly, if you like ghost USCIS, they are going to deny your case. So that's another reason that we see people's I-485s getting denied. Another reason commonly that we see adjustments of status getting denied is for a criminal record. In particular, drug-related offenses, and there can also be other types of arrests that can lead to a denial. If you have a particularly serious DWI record, your adjustment of status, I-485, can be denied for discretion. If you have a drug-related offense, you probably you may not get that waived. If it's a very small amount of marijuana for personal use and it's shown through the police records to be 30 grams or less, and you have a qualifying relative for the waiver, you can sometimes get that dismissed, but that's the only drug offense you can get dismissed. So multiple arrests, multiple DWIs, even though DWI on its own isn't a ground of inadmissibility, any kind of drug-related offenses, if there's more than one, certain types of cases like that can lead to a denial. So if you have any kind of criminal record, please consult with a qualified and experienced and trustworthy immigration attorney to help you understand your eligibility and what to expect if you file for adjustment of status on I-485. Last but not least, certainly not least, we see a lot of people file an I-485 when they are not eligible to adjust status. If you entered the United States without permission, more than likely you're not eligible to adjust status through a family member. Some people might have an exception to that. Your neighbor might have, a friend, a cousin, the lady who does your taxes. All those people maybe had some basis upon which to file a I-485, even though they entered without permission. And we have a video on people who qualify for adjustment of status in that circumstance. It is really important to check your eligibility, though. Before filing, it's worth consulting with someone that you know, like, and trust to understand clearly your eligibility so that you don't end up in deportation proceedings just because you've accidentally filed the wrong kind of form. If you don't qualify for I-485, adjustment of status, sometimes there's other ways that you can pursue your residency. So it's just really important to be clear on what is the correct path for yourself. Now, here's a bonus tip. If your I-485 is denied, you have 30, typically maybe 33. Your notice will tell you, the denial notice will tell you how many days you have to submit a request for reconsideration or an appeal. All is not necessarily lost at the moment of denial. The moment of denial is saying you're about to fall off a cliff. You have 30 days to save yourself from the cliff, okay? And so if you have gotten a denial, or you've gotten a notice of intent to deny from USCIS, or you've gotten a request for evidence, or you just want help with making sure that your case is done correctly, please reach out to us. We are available by phone and online to help schedule you for consultation with myself, one of my partners, one of our associate attorneys. Anyone in our office will be honored and delighted to help analyze your case, figure out what you're eligible for, and do what we can to help you get the most secure, long-term, safest, most permanent status that we can. Please, again, share, subscribe, comment, leave us comments. I do respond to those. Share the video, like our channel, subscribe, like our videos, help us get the word out. We want immigrants to get good, trustworthy information. We want y'all to be successful in this process. We are grateful that you have chosen the United States as your home. If we can help you remain there long-term safely, please let us know. Please let us do that. We will be honored. In the meantime, catch us every Wednesday at noon live on our channels for Q&A, and reach out to us directly for specific, particularized, customized help with your case. Stay safe. Take care. See you next time.